Welcome to Techstination. Joining us is Mike Lamb, the CEO of a company called Clearwave. Thank you for joining us, Mike.
Oh, my pleasure.
Got a big announcement today, but first, give us a little background about Clearwave. What's the company all about?
Well, Clearwave is a digital patient registration platform. Essentially, we provide a way for, or a solution for physician specialty practices and health systems to automate the tedious, usually paper and clipboard process that patients have to go through to check in for an appointment. And so our software digitizes that process down to a 2 or 3 minute experience, which patients really like. And then our solution also checks for insurance eligibility, handles the copay, and then actually collects the payment for the practice from the patient, all as part of that check-in. So it's a win for the patient in terms of a much easier experience, no more paper, and the practice gains a lot of efficiency as well as improvement in their collections.
Well, we've all gone through the experience of sitting in a waiting room with the clipboard on our lap and the pen that maybe isn't writing so well. So describe for us what this looks like from the consumer perspective.
Well, sure. One of the great things about Clearwave is that we offer really fast and flexible means of check-in. So it reaches across all modalities. So, for example, a patient can actually do a pre-check-in process straight from their mobile phone, before their appointment even happens. So they can get a text and a link to the application, fill in their information, take a picture of their license and insurance card, and it's all stored in our cloud-based software. Also, the other options are, and this is what we're talking about today, is at the doctor's office itself, patients have a choice of using a Clearwave tablet, which is called Clearwave Connect, which we're very excited about our launch today, to do that same experience, or a fixed touchscreen kiosk for high volume types of locations. So it's a real flexible means of interacting with it. Again, mobile, tablet, or kiosk, depending on what's best for the practice workflow and patient choice.
Interesting. So tell us how this benefits, I guess, both parties, both the medical office and the patient here. Give us some of the advantages.
Well, again, as you highlighted, it's great for the patient. None of us, myself included, enjoy filling out, multiple forms in a waiting room for a doctor visit. And to boot, a lot of that information is repetitive on each form. You fill out your name and birth date on 7 different forms. And with our solution from a patient side, we capture all of the data from the appointment from the practice management software. So much of the data is already pre-populated when I check in, and I just add anything that's changed. So for the patient, it takes that whole experience from a 15 to 20 minute laborious exercise into a 2 or 3 minute process, which is much more pleasant. And then on the practice side, it's a much more efficient workflow and technology. So it eliminates the need for redundant manual data entry from forms into the practice management system. So all that work goes away. We verify and validate eligibility, which is a huge pain point for practices, which leads to denied claims and delayed payments. And we virtually eliminate that problem. And then the last piece, as I mentioned before, is that we handle copay and balance due collections at the point of check-in. So it improves the practice collection capability by 30 to 50%, which obviously generates more revenue more quickly for the practice, which they really appreciate.
Obviously, security is always a concern with this type of information. So tell us how you deal with that.
Certainly, that is first and foremost in every thing that we build from a software perspective and deployment. But we are HIPAA certified. We are SOC 2 certified. We take our audit and our privacy policies extraordinarily seriously. And it's our mission to maintain the confidentiality, safety, and security of our patients' data. To date, we've checked in over 54 million patients in our history, so we know a lot about high volume, high scale data transaction and the necessity to keep it safe and secure.
From a patient's perspective, can this data be carried over to another practice, or do I start from scratch when I go there and filling things out? In other words, does Clearwave have a way of storing this that can populate forms?
No, that's a great question, and the answer is yes. Particularly in the mobile pre-check, the patient will have an option to create a Clearwave account, and if they elect to do that, if they go to another practice that uses Clearwave, their information will be pulled right up. So that, again, saves some time from having to re-register.
Tell us what you think and hope your role is or can be in bringing down healthcare costs.
Well, indirectly, by what we do, we make our client practices and health systems more efficient. And when we take cost out of the administrative end of running a practice, that enables the physician practice to focus more time on value of care, focus more time on patient experience, and look for other methods to reduce costs. So taking admin cost out of the system is always a good thing.
Interesting. So for more information, where do people go?
Well, they can go to our website. It's www.clearwaveinc.com.
And again, it's CLEARWAVEINC.com. Mike Lamb, thank you for taking the time with us.
My pleasure. Thank you very much.
Now this. How many companies out there have continued to innovate when it comes to building a better radio? I'm Fred Fishkin, host of Techstination, and I'm here to tell you about the new CC Skywave SSB radio from the wonderful people at C. Crane. Bob and his crew really love radio, and it shows in this new compact model that is packed with features. Beyond great AM and FM reception and sound, you can tune into shortwave signals from around the world, listen to ham radio operators, aviation, and more. It's the radio you'll turn to every day, and in emergencies. It will run for nearly 3 days on just 2 AA batteries. Pair the sleep timer with the new Soft Speaker 3, and you've got the perfect radio for your nightstand. Of course, it can wake you up too. Click on C. Crane at Techstination.com and put in the code Techstination for a free flashlight with your order. They love radio, and you'll love C. Crane.